goat path became a vehicle path as, you know, as time went on. Everybody knows it evolved. But I think it was I don't know if it was a community that, you know, maybe might have turned their head a little here and there. I didn't realize that complaining to themselves and at the dinner table wasn't how it was going to get solved. And I just want to say, everything you guys have done for me so far, I appreciate it. You have no idea what it means. And again, I want to apologize for Jason. I had an issue. Did you get a chance to look at that video?
Yeah, you showed me that day and Fred showed it to
Okay.
me again. And
That was just, I'm not going to say that's the straw that broke the camel's back, but that changed me that night. I had three 53-foot tractor trailers at 3:45 in the morning come down a no-truck road. I fell asleep that night with my 8-year-old boy, one on one sofa, one on the other, watching cartoons, and I woke up to the house shaking, him jumping on top of me screaming for his dad. I'm his first line of defense. And in a lot of ways, if you stood on that corner and you took this parable I'm going to give you, you could be backed into a corner and you're expected to fight your way out. And as a father, everyone here who's a father is going to scratch, gnaw, paw, kick. You're going to fight for your family. I don't have a lot of fight left. This is 5+ years. There's a medical issue in my family that needs me to be there. I'm not going to elaborate, but my family needs me. When the second truck hit the house, it shook. I was in the street in a second. I stopped the third truck. The other two were going so fast, I could hear those engines screaming going through the light at 209 and 248. There was a police officer on that night. I believe Bonito was on. But there was, unfortunately, there was a really bad accident on the turnpike in what I'm nicknaming the deadly stretch. I mean, this is just a bad stretch of road. It is, you know. This is our I-80. And they needed to be there in drones. 2 weeks before that, another one. You know, 5 cars flattened, whatever. And just every first responder in the county and beyond was there. That's the power of community, doing what needs to be done now. They have a game plan when something bad happens. There's teamwork. They get on that path. They know what to do. They know how to approach it. They know how to solve it. And if they can't solve it, they get their heads together. They get their hands in the manure and they move. They get it done because people's families are at stake. Thank God every single day you people go home and say you love your family and just say good night, say good morning. Because you don't know. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. It's not a matter of what if something bad happens. There are 80 and 100,000 pound trucks like missiles going through our township, guys. The problem is, it came with the growth. That too is coming, it's evolving. We're evolving as a community, you know? I understand process, I know due process, I know how it works. I know everyone has a system of paperwork to get it done so everybody's protected. But I think in that, the entities that are protecting us forget who they're protecting a lot of times. We need to be on the same page. I was hoping more people from the community would show up. I stopped the third truck that night. I couldn't get any police. I called 911. I was transferred to the state police. There in the street, on speakerphone, was a dad with 3 screaming kids, a crying wife, a 53-foot truck with a double sleeper, a 78-foot long truck, and a man wearing no pants not speaking a lick of English, is trying to explain to me that he's in the right. And then I have a transfer to the state police and them saying, well, we're not coming. We're not coming. All right?
To me, a couple weeks ago,
We're not coming.
yeah, not an emergency.
My little boy was looking out the window and I was crying. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a cunt. I am not a pussy. I'm telling you, we need, whatever the differences are between anybody, the bottom line is, you guys, I'm not the only one. A lot of people just don't understand that coming here is how you're gonna get it done. But you just know I've been here. And sometimes if you drag your feet a week, and this is where I take it personal, when I hear the motion, we're gonna look into it. One of the things that changed on Wednesday was, I look at that like they're throwing me the bird. I'm sorry, but because now I have to wait another month to see if you looked into it or if you overlooked it. It's a scary thing to know that when I close my eyes and get that 1 hour sleep before I hear somebody's truck coming down the road, or somebody blows through that stop sign, or somebody takes a triaxle on their way to work going down Canal, I'm gonna jump up, run to the front porch, and I'm not even backed into a corner. I'm starting to feel like I'm standing on an outside corner by myself with no other option but to run, because that's the only option I got. I'm not gonna run. I'm here. And I'm not just here for me. We have growth. The hospital's a beautiful thing to have here. Everybody knows that. It's minutes away. It's at a good location. It's accessible. If I could make a demand, it would be that we find the unity and make this happen. We need to make Franklin Township and these 3 state roads that come through our township truck free. Get them out. All right, get them out. That hospital has more money than anybody here. I know it's nonprofit, but everybody in this room understands something. You do not start a nonprofit organization that spends billions of dollars in one community to not make $1 million that year. All right? Let's look at this for what it's worth. That hospital is a money-making machine that hides behind a nonprofit sign. That's their right. And I'm never going to attack a hospital because my wife used them. She was in that ICU. I sat next to her bed. But those trucks, they're pounding our roads down. 1 truck at a time, 18, 20 trucks a day, 50 miles an hour. They're blowing that stop sign. They just don't care. You can't even tell them that you don't want them to do it. You know why? They don't speak English. And when they kill somebody, I hope it's not somebody that I know and I love on that corner. Because my neighbors across the street, Mr. and Mrs. Boyer, they came to me personally last year after I stopped a truck that was trying to push through their property. Bumper against a wall. Would have taken that garage out off of their house. It's part of their house. Their house is above that garage. They can't even walk right. They worked their whole life, guys. If we get on the same page and we safe haven this township, this is a beautiful township. I had 2 acres in the woods, man. I came here with my family because there was more kids, there was more opportunity, and I thought it was beautiful. I grew up in Long Run. My grandparents raised me. I said that before when I was in here. There was board members in the past who tried, but with the evolution of growth, sometimes their hands were tied. Rod, you know that firsthand, right? You can only work with the hand you're dealt. And you have a living to make. You have a living to make. You have a family at home. I respect and I fully understand what it's like. And I know that some nights, I'm going on a limb, you hear from your wife tonight again. And you're like, I gotta do this. Because you're public servants. We didn't elect a politician. We didn't elect someone who has an agenda. We elected people who were gonna go to fight for us, be our voice, be our backbone, because honestly, we can't, how many residents are in Franklin?
4,200.
4,200 people aren't gonna fit in a courtroom. But I bet a lot of them would show up if a little boy or a little girl gets run over by a tractor trailer doing 50 miles an hour and nobody shows up. All right? It's not just my road. There's options. PennDOT's on, they're waiting for the call. They want this aggressively done. Everybody that's driven through there in the past couple of days, there's 3,800 blocks, 3,800 pound blocks sitting on that corner, 3 of them. Is that gonna stop a truck? Sure hell gonna slow them down. I won't have to drive 105 miles an hour down 248 to try and catch him in my underwear. That's what happened that night. When the state police did show up, it was because I told them the man can leave whenever he wants, but the truck belongs to me. Why did I have to do that? I had to do that because I was backed into an outside corner. I could have ran. I could have picked up my babies and ran. Anybody here, show me a hand. Who would do that? Would you pick your family up and run? Would anybody do that? Just run away from everything? Would you run away from it? Anybody? There you go. We're there. I watched Dan. He's got a grandson. My son and his grandson, they're the clique. They're the Second Street gang. They are the little rascals of that intersection. Dan walks them across the street every time. They get on their bicycle. They can't ride in the street like we did. That's evolution. But we can put